Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
What's going on, people? This is Inflewence, and today I got Gigapower HQ-01R better known as Grimlock masterpiece. This is an absolute beast. I know it's old. It's been around for years now, a few years. You know, they were competing with Fans Toys, and I must say I have one Fans Toys Dinobot, and I want to get rid of it. After getting this, I really like the size and the aesthetic of this figure, and I want them all. I also have I think Sludge coming. I can't remember. Can't remember what I ordered, but yeah, I grossly underestimated the size of this figure. Now, it's not without its flaws, but it is beautiful to look at. I can say that. I like the size. Some people think it's too big. It's humongous. I like it humongous. I think the Dinobots should be humongous. So I'm fine with the size, and I prefer the size over Fans Toys and the aesthetic over Fans Toys, which doesn't happen too often. In my book anyway, doesn't happen too often. Build wise, everything is great except for a few things. So let's get into my initial thoughts. There's one, the gun doesn't stay in his hand as great as I would like it. You can put it in, you can get it in there, close his fist, and it'll stay for a pose, but it's really loose. Not really loose, but the peg is too small. I believe the sword's pegs in great on both sides, and this doesn't peg in great on both sides. I tried it. Sometimes one side or the other is better, but this isn't the case with this. So that's the one flaw. Two, his bicep swivel is so tight. It feels like I'm gonna break it. And it is ratcheted, but those ratchets do not feel good. They feel like they'll break. I'm going to show it when I do articulation, but just saying. And one of the biggest flaws is the ankle rockers. I have no idea why. Well, I do have some idea why. The ankle rockers go out. They go the wrong way. They pivot this way instead of pivoting this way. Now, either that was I believe it's to help with transformation, and maybe that's the real reason it's there and it's not really a rocker, but I don't know. Or it could be an oversight by who was doing this, because you do have to spin this around and things like that. So it can get in the way, and maybe while they're designing it, they were off a little bit and they forgot that it shouldn't go that way. It should go this way. I don't know. But to overcome that, I use his knees and it kind of gives him a wider stance. I like kind of tilt his knees, because his knees can go in somewhat even in this mode, and it kind of acts as a little pivot. So it's like, but then you get this type of pose, which I'm fine with. I think it makes him look a little bit more proportional, because that's the last complaint I have, is these legs are skinny and small. And I mean, he was, and it's cartoon accurate, so it is what it is. What you're gonna do, that's what happens sometimes. And all the Dinobots, Fans Toys is like that. I actually think Fans Toys may be worse. They may be a little skinnier. I don't know. I don't have Fans Toys Grimlock to compare them to, but I do have Fans Toys Slag. No, Snarl. I got Snarl. What I'm talking about. So I will compare him. But let's get into accessories first. Again, his gun. His gun is great. Normal gun. It's super big. It has, like, I always thought it felt like his gun was like a spaceship. Like, it should have turned into a little ship, like humans to ride or something. Again, I thought this lit up, but I don't see any way to push the button or anything, or any buttons to push. So I assume it does. It doesn't say anything in the directions either. You get this sword, which is really nice, really big. And this does light up with the little button. It takes two AG6s. I put 2 sets of different batteries in, and both sets worked, and neither of them was the AG6. I would go with the AG6. It just fits better, but the ones I put in there were super small, so they're just like stuffed in there. I'm probably gonna have to get a tool to get them out. But a battery's a battery, and it contacts the contacts, and it fits, so it makes it light up. It may not last as long as it should, but it is what it is. And you get the red visor face, because the blue visor face is on him now, if you can see. And you also get the crown, which is very sharp, and just sits on there like that. I'll show it on him as well. And show his face. Yes. There's his face plate and the crown on him, which I think is really nice. Nice gold paint. And that's cool. Get the directions. Directions are all right. They skip some steps that I won't skip. So, and you get this big giant box, which just has pictures, has some product shots as normal. Him again. Guy is really impressive. When I first got it out the box, I was super impressed with it. It was actually amazing because I wasn't expecting it to be this big. So let's go into comparisons now. So I'll bring in Fans Toys Snarl, so you can see how big he is next to Snarl. And I actually kind of like that, because I think Grimlock should be bigger than all of them, even though a lot of people think they should be the same size. But I'm fine with this. Like, I'm not going, I may get their Snarl eventually, but I'm concentrating on getting the rest of the other. Now, if I get them all and they're all bigger, then Snarl, that is gonna look weird. So I may just have to, but I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what it looks like. Maybe I transform Snarl, or maybe I use the Fans Toys as the dinosaurs. I don't know. But for now, right now, I'm fine with this. This looks good. Compare. So then we'll do Masterpiece Willie. That's X-Transbots Willie. It's probably not gonna stand up. And Optimus Prime. So you can see just how big this guy is. He's humongous. Beefy. And we'll get into articulation. So his head moves all around. Has some side to side about there. Looks down about that much. That's about normal. And up about that much. It's on a ball joint. His arms go all the way up. They are on ratchets and tight ratchet. Well, they're actually kind of soft, but they're very tight. They're fine. His arms go all the way around on these ratchets. It does get in the way over here, so you have to move it out if you want it to get it all the way around. And it's hard. It does hit that, so I'm not gonna test it. These do move. You can get them like that, forward, backwards, depending on where you like the wings. I like them a little angled up. Bicep. He has a double jointed elbow, but it only gets you 90 degrees, really. I don't think you can get any more. Yeah, nah, not really. Just 90 degrees. These things can get out the way. You can put them down if you feel like they should be down, or you can put them up. And these two toes are individual. I have found manipulating him that his knees are, I guess that's a flaw too. They didn't feel weak, but while manipulating him, he is top heavy. So it does go back a little bit, and you see that happens. It doesn't just happen while he's standing here, especially if you have his legs in a position like, you know, fixed like that. Let's get back to the articulation. So his waist, he has a waist swivel. It actually goes all the way around with no problem. He has no ab crunch. This actually came as an accessory too. You had to put it on. I guess they figured they left it off so you could do what you need to do. There's a little indentation for a symbol. I'm actually gonna get a better symbol. I need to get more symbols. I just put that on there just for now because it looked kind of naked. Because you could like really tell that they put a spot there for a symbol. So you have skirts, all 6 skirts, 2 on the sides, 4 on the front and back, or 2 on the front, 2 on the back. So he can do the splits, and that's ratcheted with no failure at all. Then, oh, his head came off. This is the first time his head came off. Comes off pretty easy. And he can do the hurdles, I believe. Yeah, you can do the hurdles, but not too much failing. I didn't talk about the bicep swivel. I meant to, but you can hear it. It's super tight. And it just feels like it's going, don't want to use the B word. I don't want to jinx myself, but it does feel, it feels tight and it feels weird. So he has a swivel right here. His knees go like this with ratchets on them. And they go back about 90 degrees. And of course, his foot does go down a little bit. It has that rocker, and you can see what I mean. It's the outward rocker instead of a rocker going in. And you do get a little tiny bit. It looks like that's straight on, and then when you put it up, you do get a tiny bit of rocker, but not much. So yeah, that ankle tilt, not having that is probably the biggest flaw I feel like this beast is, but that is not a deal breaker for me. Just to show off, you got the gold, got a nice gold finish, very reflective, you can see. Got the red in the neck. You can change this to red if you need to, if you want to. It never mattered to me because I don't even remember what I remembered he had, red or blue. Most of my stuff is cartoon, is what I remember. So I didn't have the toys as much. Like I had a few specific toys, but like I said, all my memory of Transformers is mostly the cartoon. Get into transformation. Do a little prep work. Get these fists. You know how to do. Get the fists right. Get this thumb. Oh, I didn't even do the hands. What am I doing? So the hands, again, I did these. These are, but the hands spin around. They don't move in and out, but they do have a thumb on a ball joint and 2 knuckles. So you got the ball joint and you got the 2 knuckles, just like your normal fingers. And the rest of the fingers are the same way. It has not a ball joint, but it has the knuckle here to bend, and you have the knuckle here. You don't have the 3rd knuckle that's at the top, but that's fine. I think it's really good. And they're strong. They're not the fingers that feel like they're gonna fall off. So let's do that first. Let's get these hands in. This is normal. Transformation isn't hard, but there are some pieces or some parts that need to be done that I don't think was in the directions. Transform that. Move this up a little bit, which is his dinosaur head. Right here, you push up and it goes all the way up like that. So we got that. Now you want to move this flap down, Actually, I'm not sure why. I don't know if this locks in these arms like this. Pull this arm out, pull this arm out. Then you slide this down as far as it goes. Then you can move this over. Slide it back in right there. Then you move this arm over, slide it in. I think the directions wasn't really showing it like that, and then slide these back. Everything should be locked in place. Now you want to push this dinosaur head up over here like this. So then you can clamp these around here and kind of get it where it should be. You kind of know where it is. It's intuitive once you do this. And just look at that detail. That detail in there, I didn't really go over that much, but that's super nice. The detail in there, just the detail in there. I neglected to go over that. These arms also come off alrighty. Oh, that's the mushroom peg. Yeah, it's done that before. So yeah, these arms come as an accessory, I guess, because it couldn't fit. So then you want to clamp this around this. It's easier to do like this. Instead of closing this and then trying to get this in there, it won't work. So now with this, you want to move this out. Turn this around like this. Turn this around like that. Then you can work on these. Now, I don't think the directions showed. There's a little clip right here that you got to unclip in order to pull this out. And easier said than done. Let me get a tool. Got a tool right here. There we go. Out like that. Then this tail right here. I don't know what's going on with this. It's usually not in there that far like that. You pull that out. And pull this out on this. And then it's spring loaded, so you can pull it out a little bit farther. You make sure this clip is in, because you're going to need it to put it back. Then you're down there like this. This right here, you pull up, kind of spin it around. Now you want to fold this in like this, and this right here should clamp onto there. Now, I could not get it to save the life of me, but we are going to see. And something to make note of, it's a lot of grease in that ratchet joint. They knew what it was. As you're doing it, you can move this back down here like this and clamp it back on. This little clamp. Clamp it back. And continue to move this. And again, you got to make sure this thing makes it around all this, because this is supposed to peg on right there. But if you can't get this to here, it's not going to peg on. And I don't know if I can get it, because I couldn't get it before. Let me try it off camera. So I'm just going to try to do this one, and then you can move this up like this, and then you can pull this out here, spin it around, and it's the rest of the tail. So let me work on this leg and see if I can't get it a little better. So flip that off of there, pull this out here. Pull this out here like this. Make sure this is in so you can get it around it. Then I move this like that. As you're doing that, you can move this up here and clip it in right there. Make sure you get this around here, and then you can try to get this where you need it at. And again, it's a beast. But then you want to just try to get all this together. Pull out his tail. I forgot. Pull that out, spin it around. Now this, you can get it all together. It's basically clamping everything together. But this still isn't where it needs to be. And I don't want right there. It's supposed to clamp onto there. And it's almost impossible. I can't get it right. If you got it right, this gap wouldn't be there. And you could peg this in. I kind of hate that I can't get it correct. If I keep trying, I probably could. I don't want to scratch up that paint though. It kind of feels like I might. I don't know. But yeah, here he goes. Mecha Godzilla just about looks like. So yeah, this thing is glory. You see his face sculpt. He has the red eyes. Can move his mouth down. Let me just take a minute. You see all these features, the gold inside, the smoke. Got the gold accents here, red. The paint is magnificent on this guy. Like, the paint is insane. The gold and the chrome. All these stylings that are on the legs that show through. Transforms almost exactly like G1. Has just a little bit of tweaks and updates. And man, oh man. Like, I don't think you can really tell in pictures. Let me see, what do I got here? This is Carbonavore's Devastator. Just so you can see how he looks next to. So that's a big thing. That's a big bot. Articulation, I did show you his mouth and head and stuff, but for articulation, he can look up that much. He can look down that much. His head turn all the way around. So he got the side to side. Open his mouth. He has the chrome teeth. They're pretty sharp, so be careful. He has this thing right here. It does look like it may fit. Blast effects. But I don't. So then you have these arms. They will come off the ball joint right here. They were hard to get on, but then they seem to come off if you hit it. It don't come off super easy, but it does. Then you have each individual finger is articulated. Get him like that. And of course the legs out that much. You have same as his arm articulation, pretty much. Goes back about that far. Have this like that. And no rocker as far as on this foot. At least I don't think, no. But these articulate and they're die cast. Guess you would have to watch out for the chrome paint on die cast, but what you gonna do? I mean, it looks beautiful. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Then his tail has two segments, one there and one here. that do a little something. Not a whole lot, but you can get a little bit out of it. Also, he has a little notch back here where he can put his gun, and this stays in very well. It's actually pretty hard to get in because it's so tight. You can do that if you want. Want him to have his weaponry on him. And I guess you can put it on him like this. So you just split this. Split it up here. It's probably easier too because it's not pegged on up here. So there we go. Split that. Move this down. Get this peg out of here. Move this out and down. Get this peg out of here. It's easier when you get it from this angle. Then you can move this. Make sure this doesn't touch. Move it this way. Just move things like that. Like move this one out as well. Move that out like that. Spin that around. You get these together. Of course, spin that like that. Push this down in there. Move this up in here, and then move this in here. Up, and then clamp it. You see how all that fits in there. Then you just move this around. On the inside, it's easier. This one already moved around. Do this one. Split this. Kind of try to angle it up while as you're splitting it, you can move this up like this, and then you can get this a little angled a little better and move it out. Angled a little better and then move it out. Then you can angle it all the way. You can move it back. Goes back all the way like that, or have it like this. I don't think I showed that either. Move these slides. Pull this out. Pull this out. Move this up here. Move your arm up to the original slot. Push it in. Move this up to the original slot. Push it in. And move this back. Now you slide this down and push his head all the way back down. You can get his fist out, which is pretty tight. We're done. We can move these arms how you like them. You can hide them, you can leave them, doesn't matter. But this has been Gigapower's version of Grimlock. If you enjoyed this review, please give me a like, a subscribe, a share, anything. I have super thanks now and also memberships, which if I get some members, I'm gonna start working on tiers, and I have one tier now, but I know I'm going to add more either here or Patreon. So, again, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will get over with you in another video.
Life ain't over. Life ain't over. Life ain't over. As long as you're alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.